The fight for independence isn't always waged on battlefields. Sometimes it happens in the streets, in the voices of the people, and sometimes in the rhythm of a song. Jamaica, the 1950s, a land still under British colonial rule, a land of stark inequality. While the wealthy elite controlled industries and trade, the working class majority, descendants of enslaved Africans, faced hardship, limited rights, and few opportunities. But the winds of change were coming. As independence movements swept across Africa and the Caribbean, Jamaica too was on the brink of a revolution, not just a political one, but a cultural one. When words weren't enough, Jamaicans turned to music, the heartbeat of the people. Before reggae, there was ska, a fast, energetic sound influenced by American jazz and rhythm and blues. It was the sound of celebration, of parties, of a new Jamaican identity forming. Then came Rocksteady, slower, groovier, with deeper bass lines and more focus on storytelling. And finally, in the late 1960s, reggae emerged, heavier, more rebellious, and packed with messages of resistance. The music had evolved, and so had the message. And then came the man who would take reggae to the world, Bob Marley. Born in 1945, Bob Marley grew up in Trenchtown, one of Kingston's poorest neighborhoods. From an early age, he saw the struggles of the working class, the poverty, the violence, the oppression. Music was his escape, but it was also his weapon. With his band, the Wailers, Marley began crafting songs that spoke directly to the people. Songs about struggle, about justice, about freedom. Get up, stand up. This wasn't just a song, it was a battle cry. As Jamaica gained independence in 1962, the struggle wasn't over. The country faced economic instability, political violence, and corruption. Marley's music became the voice of the people, urging them to keep fighting, not with weapons, but with unity and consciousness. Reggae wasn't just entertainment, it was political activism. In the 1970s, Jamaica became divided. The two major political parties, the PNP and the JLP, were at war. Gangs controlled the streets, and violence escalated. Marley believed in unity. At the 1978 One Love Peace concert, he did something no one expected. He brought Prime Minister Michael Manley and opposition leader Edward Seagar on stage. He joined their hands together in front of thousands. It was a symbol of hope, a message that music could heal a nation. And Bob Marley wasn't alone. Reggae had many voices speaking out for justice. Peter Tosh, bold and unfiltered, demanded equal rights in his song, Equal Rights. Bunny Wailer championed the call for African repatriation. Burning Spear, inspired by Marcus Garvey, preached black empowerment and history. Reggae had become the voice of the revolution. Some songs aren't just music, they're history, they're movements, they're resistance. Get up, stand up. Bob Marley and the Wailers, a call to action for the oppressed. Equal rights, Peter Tosh, a demand for justice, not just peace. One love, Bob Marley, a plea for unity. War, Bob Marley, inspired by Haile Selassie's words, condemning racism worldwide. Zimbabwe, Bob Marley, an anthem of African independence. These weren't just songs, they were weapons of change. Reggae didn't just change Jamaica, it changed the world. In Africa, reggae became the soundtrack of liberation movements. In the UK, it fueled the fight against racial injustice. In America, it inspired the birth of hip-hop, as Jamaican sound system culture was brought to the Bronx by pioneers like DJ Kool Herc. Today, reggae lives on, in the voices of new artists like Chronix, Protodge, and Coffee, in the beats of dancehall and reggaeton, in the streets of Kingston, where the rhythm never dies. From Kingston to the world, reggae's message is still alive. The fight isn't over. The music continues.